2002, I wasn't alone. So many other courageous people, they did similar things. I had people from TSA send me documents. I had people from, you know, the DIA contact me, and then I would get some of that. I haven't had that. People are so scared in government. They're saying, this guy jails us because next he's going to start sending us to Guantanamo.
Well, listen, a nation of sheep will be ruled by wolves, and I got sent, you know, I get sent documents and, you know, where they're creating re-education camps, and we release them. And you know what? I say make them start arresting people more. Make them get those camps going. Let's just get this out in the open. They want to grow this slow, Sibel. And that's why I don't think they're going to go after you, because they don't want to make you a martyr.
That's very true, because they hunt one, put it in jail, and then 6 months later another. This is why I was saying with the mass protests, when I say revolution and pitchfork, people, they think I'm talking about violence. I am not, okay? But people, then I have friends who are activists, they say, yeah, we have to do more of Gandhi stuff. Maybe we all get together and have kumbaya and stand on our head and do yoga and stretch. And I don't have anything against yoga. But what would Gandhi do if his daughter is being raped in front of him, okay? For me, I am not being dramatic yet. I have a daughter. She's 3.5 years old. She's my life, okay? Alex, she's my life. And I go to airport and somebody wants to, but I have been teaching my daughter, nobody touches you. Mommy can touch you, mommy can dress you. And some people go and try to put their hands on my daughter. That is raping my daughter. I mean, raping is not an act that has to involve certain technicalities. To me, that equals rape, okay? And people now are standing back and they're like, okay, I don't like it, but it's nuisance.
No, but listen, they admit it's getting us ready for forced inoculations. It's getting us ready for political arrest. And
you know what? I'm sorry, I can't do yoga and do kumbaya and do the chanting and say, hopefully it will change. I go to my ex-professors in universities. You know what they say, Alex? They say, this is American politics. There is this pendulum that swings this way and this way, so it's going to swing back. Yeah, this pendulum has been going one way for a long time, okay? It hasn't been swinging back and forth.
That's because they're ramming it through in a controlled global corporate takeover.
This is the intelligentsia that we have here. If our professors, they say, chant, wait for the pendulum swing back that way, and I say, no, grab your pitchfork symbolically, okay? Get out. Go claim back your liberties for your children, for your husband, for your wife, for your parents. Because as a nation, we are being raped every day. That TSA is only one, as you said. What they do in the schools, that's another way. What they do, you are talking on the phone and they are listening to you. Everybody now knows it, but they stopped screaming about it. It made this splash, Alex, when NSA's illegal eavesdropping of all American communication came out. 6 months later, it became a fact of life. They rape your privacy on the phone. They rape your privacy on the email. They rape your daughter in the airport. They rape your son in schools. How long are you going to sit and put up with being raped? And every month, like good little sheep, go and pay your taxes and say, I give you the money, rape me, please. And when people say, we're going to stop this, get their pitchfork, get out there and say, we've had it.
Well, look, absolutely. I've studied history, and if people at this point stand up and believe they can change it, then it reverses. But the way we're going, if people give in to the fear, then the tyranny wins, and it's going to be really hardcore. I've analyzed this, Sibel, and I want to get your take on this tyranny. This is a scientific world government eugenics plan. It's a scientific plan, and that's why the pendulum won't ever swing back, because it's being driven by a juggernaut of narcotics money, Federal Reserve money. It's here. They've committed so many crimes in the ruling elite that they're all going to go to prison if they don't win. So they've got to bring in a total technocracy, in their words, and eradicate all forms of human liberty. This is for everything. This is for all the marbles. That's why the Russians, and they're corrupt in their own right, are having to say, Medvedev yesterday, their chairman of Joint Chiefs of Staff last week, they said, prepare for nuclear war. You're moving weapons in. You're moving al-Qaeda in to attack us. We're going to have to launch nukes into your Western Europe. The Russians didn't talk like that in the middle of the Cold War, because back then the banks were funding them and there was more of an inside deal. This is serious, and these crazy bankers like Corzine making 40-to-1 bets in MF Global with people's private accounts, he gets caught lying in Congress, and it's just like, that's the way it is. So, I mean, the elite have done like Hitler, attacking North Africa, attacking Russia, attacking England, declaring war on the U.S., you know, and Hitler just, so many others in history. We see Napoleon doing the same thing. These guys have some victories, and it's megalomania. Nero went crazy. Caligula went crazy. I'm telling you, Sibel, they have gone nuts. They have gone crazy. The ruling elite doesn't even care if Fukushima's got
hubris, because they are seeing it this way. Who can challenge us? I mean, really. And as you said, it's global. When you're looking, I gave you an example with Libya. It is the collusion between, it's the whole gang. It's NATO going and doing its part, coming out. And then now, I mean, go look at just in the past few months, which companies have gone into Libya, taking over the oil wells and the oil deals. It's UK and US. And then the banksters are putting the bills. It's a team. It takes the whole village. It's the village of, you're looking at the military part of it, you know, NATO and the CIA, you know, all the black ops and the mercenaries. That's the military arms. Then there is the money, banking, financial part of it. And then you have these politicians worldwide, whether it's in France or if it's in Germany or if it's in UK or if it's in Australia or here. That it's, you know, I mean, people are talking about Bilderberg. It's a club. It's a global club. And the victims are the people of the world. I mean, it's not like, oh, of course, some are far worse victims than in far worse situation that we are, because, you know, to turn on the TV, one girl, American girl or boy, baby, child is lost or taken away or abducted or killed. I mean, it's heartbreaking. We are airing it months for months, and they go take the drone out there, drop in there, and go take a look at the pictures, the one that mainstream will never, ever, ever publish, ever publish. Since Vietnam, they haven't. They haven't been publishing our victims' pictures. And these charcoal kids, not once a month, every single day, okay? Put those, show those on TV. When we say, oh, we had 3 drone attacks and we killed 3 Al-Qaedas. I'm like, okay, how do you determine these are Al-Qaeda? Did they carry IDs, badges? Oh, we got 2 more Al-Qaeda here. Yo, add it there. Is that how they determined they were Al-Qaeda? Or before they shoot them, this guy walking around waving Al-Qaeda flag, wearing Al-Qaeda badge? Come on. Who says these people that we are killing, 3 of them were Al-Qaeda? Prove it. You never see that. When you read newspapers, I wrote a piece about this on Boiling Frost Post. Every day we are killing so many Al-Qaedas. Who says they are Al-Qaeda? Mainstream media seeks what kind of evidence, okay? What makes them Al-Qaeda? And all those little babies, children, just count the numbers, show them every day to the American people.
Well, listen, Sibel, I have talked to high-level people at CNN and Fox, as well as MSNBC over the years, and they've told me it's exactly like you say. I've talked to high-level people. They tell them, listen, you want to pay for your kids, you want your $1 million a year, shut up and don't criticize the system. And when they do stuff, you laugh about it and act like you like it, or you can get your stuff and your contract's gone. And they point blank tell them, I mean, the ruling class and even the mid-level minions, a lot of them, they know what it is, and they've just decided, well, okay, we'll do it. But they don't understand history. Then the worst of the worst compete and get in control, and it becomes a synthesis of pure evil. And pretty soon the worst of the worst are in, and every culture does this, from the Aztecs to the Babylonians to the Nazi Germans to the communists. Every culture, when this corruption thing happens, it rolls downhill until they're ordering the firstborn young to be given to the government as an act of fealty to be sacrificed. I mean, most cultures, the government would order your firstborn killed as an exercise of power. I mean, that's what human sacrifice was just a raw exercise of power by the priest class. And that's what this is. I mean, it is, I've studied so much history and anthropology and sociology and archaeology and primitive cultures, and when humans go bad, we really go bad, and a new dark age is here. And it's whistleblowers that have the light of liberty in their hearts and minds and eyes, Cybelle, that are going to lead us out of this. And I hope and pray your courage is a example to others, because we have nothing to lose. There is no future for our children if we don't beat this. So just commit to it, own it, love it, stand up, and you'll truly be alive. I bet, Cybelle, even though you've been through all this persecution, that you feel more alive than you ever have before. Now, I'm throwing that out there because I know I do. Compared to yourself, say, 11 years ago, what type of person are you now?
Despite all the sufferings and everything, I believe today I'm a stronger person. Some people would call me more cynical. I would call myself more realist, okay?
More alive.
And more alive.
More awake.
It is. And one other thing, you know, and this is one of the things I tell people who accuse me of being unpatriotic, saying things like this, criticizing U.S. government. I say, you know, today, if they were around, let's say if we had Thomas Jefferson, he would be on no-fly list. He would be one of the first to be picked up under NDAA and placed in Guantanamo. You know, just like, you know, what you're talking about, Ron Paul, Thomas Jefferson would be considered domestic terrorist. That's the kind of a government.
No. I have FEMA on video teaching police that Thomas Jefferson and George Washington and Benjamin Franklin were bad. They actually say to cops with a straight face. And I've given the number out when I've played that video on the radio and TV, and unlimited police call in and go, yeah, we got that exact training. They sit there and they're watching the cops to see who says that's wrong and putting them on a list, and they don't get promoted. If you don't hate George Washington, you don't get promoted in the police force now. I'm not kidding.
I have a whistleblower, air marshal, okay? And he said it's part of the policy there for air marshals, and it's for the rest of TSA, but he knows about air marshal. If they indicate that they are libertarians, they are there for Libertarian Party, they are not granted clearance. They make other excuses not to give them, but they say, and this is the Department of Homeland Security, those who believe in Libertarian parties are terrorist anarchists. So therefore, they have to lie. They say, you know, they're independent, but if they find out that you're libertarian in terms of the big L. You know, I have libertarian leaning.
Again, you just dropped a bombshell here. We always think of discrimination as sexual or racial.
Get this air marshal on your show. I believe I can persuade him. Decorated veteran. He's been, you know, before with the military. He got disgusted. He got out about a year and a half ago, and he is little L libertarian, not the party, but he's libertarian minded. But this is, and he's not lying, and I believe I can persuade him. He will come, and as I said, he's decorated. He's a very respected individual, and he hasn't been really public before. But that's what they won't hire you. They won't give you clearance. Because
well, let's get him on next week, because I was just going to make the point. We think of, and the media harps on, discrimination is racial or religious or sexual, and sure, all that goes on. Instead of thinking, okay, Obama shut down coal power plants that his buddies didn't own, but he gave waivers to General Electric, or he gave waivers to 2,000 companies to not get health insurance for their employees, but the little hamburger shack that can't afford it, they have to and go out of business. That's the real discrimination, and I've been told that. But that's a big that's a Pulitzer Prize that needs to come out, that if you're a libertarian or you're a Ron Paul supporter, you don't get clearance, you don't get the job. They use that national security state. And now they're saying if they put you on a no-fly list, no judge, no jury, that you won't be able to buy a gun. I mean, the national security tyranny isn't just going to let the crooks do what they want now. Now they're going to tell us in the national security state, we can't leave the U.S., we can't fly, we can't have a job, we can't travel. It's not just going to be the feds that get blackballed if they're not tyrants. It's the general public, Cybelle.
It certainly is. And, you know, one of the other examples I like to give people is I would complain about TSA, write about it. And remember that lady, that old lady whose diaper had to be removed? She was humiliated. You remember that case, right, Alex?